What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Smart Money Sundays. Hope you all have enjoyed a nice, long, extended 3-day weekend. Bank holiday here in the States, so I haven't really seen much volatility, which we can expect to kind of pick back up here in London session tomorrow. But we're going to go ahead and get into some kind of higher time frame analysis to help you establish kind of a narrative coming into the remainder of the week. So as usual, we'll start off here on Euro USD and get my kind of perspective. For me, obviously, nothing has changed, since last week, right? The bias is still to the upside until price gives us a reason to think otherwise. All right, so we had a very bullish week last week and a bearish week on the dollar, which was expected, right? So hopefully a lot of you caught a lot of those good moves that took place last week. It was certainly a great week for our VIP community. But on EU, right, I am looking to kind of continue to take this thing higher, at least up into this kind of daily time frame up close candle into 1.11. Right, that's going to be the objective for me. Now, we did have a lower time frame kind of supply here that we have tapped into, and hence I think we can see a reaction from that level. But overall, I do think that we need to dig back higher into 1.11, at least 1.1, right? A nice round institutional level here on EU, right? And so with that being said, naturally, we should simply be looking to buy retracements, all right? And so obviously, higher low produced a higher high. We would want to see that discounted price, right? To then look for buying opportunities to get long again, trading long until we hit that higher time frame objective. All right, and so for me, the levels are going to be 1.0600, right? A nice whole number. All right, digging into this daily down close, we'll hop back out to the daily. All right, as you can see, the daily down close candle here. So that's going to be kind of where I first start to look for accumulation on lower time frames, 1.06 into 1.05, kind of 50. All right, this is going to be my buy zone. All right, so simply want to see a retracement into there, right, for overall continuations higher. All right, and this narrative, this theme is going to continue, right, until we break structure, right? Until we clear this low, we are still bullish, right? It's as simple as that, right? Until we clear this low, until we clear 1.0500 and break and sustain below, we should be looking to continue to buy this, right? No point in trying to catch tops and bottoms in these markets. It's going to do you no favors. All right, and so the same kind of goes for GBP USD. Now, I know we did trade into our higher time frame level, right? This previous low, we talked about this last week, 1.243, right? And then, in my opinion, we were kind of trapped in between supply, right? This supply that we had marked off last week, and obviously these relative equal lows here, perfectly equal lows that were run out, right? Sell to buy. Right, so that didn't look too favorable for me in terms of bears, right? Especially given the narrative across the other dollar pairs, right? So more favorable for the bulls. Now we are seeing a reaction, right, off of this level, which is completely fine. It's a very valid level, right? Is that kind of demand to supply flip we talked about, right? Demand, kind of a little bit of a reprice and breakthrough, breach through, retest, mitigation. Right, so we did have that type of price action, right, with the relative equal highs here, up close, kind of buy to sell. All right, and so this might be a good area to look for hedging opportunities, right? If we can clear this low and kind of create that demand to supply flip, right, that might be an area where you could look to sell into, right, our bullish POI. Or we could also hedge long. Right? The same goes with Euro USD. We are technically bullish still, right, until we clear this low on GBP USD. All right, especially given the fact that this was a simple run on equal lows, right? Consolidation, sell to buy. All right. So yes, we are meeting some resistance here, right? And we have traded into this supply. Right, and that would be even further confirmation if after having traded into this supply, we create a lower high and then a new lower low. Then it would be more so confirmation for me. We would then have a low, lower high, lower low sequence, and then we can look to catch it on the third drive. All right, but until then, shorting opportunities, we should be looking to take profit at these areas where we could very easily continue to go long from, right? And that is 1.2 and 1.193. This is going to be the buy zone here for GBP USD. Okay. Following that bullish narrative on these XXX USD pairs until we really do breach and sustain below market structure. All right, AUD USD had a nice buying opportunity, taking out this previous high. Called that out last week. Our VIP members caught that. In terms of the here and now, right, the same narrative applies. I really want to see price dig up into 0.70500, into 7100. All right, a nice institutional level here historically on AUD USD. All right, so the same thing goes, right? We have that bullish move, higher low, higher high. This is all just kind of intermediate structure here. All right, so I would not be surprised to see an ultimate run, sweeping out all of the sell side liquidity, and then having that kind of final leg to the upside into 7050. Right, so that brings us down into this down close candle here. Looks really clean to me. Talked about this last week as well. Just haven't seen the retracement yet. 6789 is the level. All right, so if we get down into this discounted price, this discounted area, I would certainly entertain long opportunities on the Aussie dollar. All right, and of course, the same goes for NZD USD. Right, we had 6,300 as our initial level. We just missed that last week. All right, that's okay. Looking to take this thing higher into 6,480. All right, and so I think if we can sweep out this singular wick low, right, same with AUD USD, trade lower into our demand. This is a true demand. Right, in and around 6,260, we can look to take this thing higher. Okay. So pretty self-explanatory here on a lot of these dollar pairs. All right, USD CAD. This is one we talked about last week where it would be critical to breach below this higher low that produced the higher high within our counter trend. Right, just following the counter trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This could have very easily just been a retracement for another higher low. But the fact that we invalidated this demand, right, to me, that's some added confirmation that we're ready to go ahead and kind of roll over here on USD CAD, right, and create that new lower low within the higher time frame sequence. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low relative to this low, trading deeper into our demand, 1.3050, right, filling up some of this imbalance here to the left. Right, so that's going to be the objective, 1.3050. Talked about that last week as well. Nothing's really changed on this one. Really like to see us trade into premium price, right, at least into this bit of supply here, if not higher, right, and that's completely okay. Stop losses are going to be above this high, right, and then look to take that nice swing opportunity lower into 3050, right. Just the fact that we had the buy to sell and we've just been consolidating, engineering buy side liquidity. Would really like to see that buy to sell take place here this week, and then the continuations to the downside. USD Swissy is another one we called out. Very clean up close candle here. All right, the up close a couple of weeks ago had that mitigation last week. All right, so that's floating in some really good profit. Looking to take this down into the negative 27. 0.9100 is that objective, and really below these old previous relative equal lows here. A very nice pool of sell side liquidity with these equal lows at 9,150. Really like to dig into that pool of liquidity and hit that negative 27 simultaneously. All right, so very beautiful trade. Nothing in terms of the here and now. Congratulations if you caught that. Just wanted to highlight it for you. All right, Euro GBP. Euro GBP, in my opinion, just given this price action here of late, in my opinion, is distributing. This is distributing right prior to a very strong POI that we've talked about time and time again. Right to the left, way over to the left. All right, with this demand to supply flip. Right, this nice wick here on the 2-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame as well. You guys can sift through all the time frames on your own time. sitting in and around 8,900, a nice round number, right? And so as we kind of approach this, this institutional figure, a significant level of inefficiency, right? We are starting to slow down in momentum and distribute, right? And so I'd really like to see one kind of upthrust, one final upthrust and buy to sell, right? And then we would be looking really good for shorting opportunities, higher time frame swings to the downside. Right, ultimately, I think this thing can trade much lower on the higher time frames. Right, I think we can very easily dig back into 8,650. Right, nice inefficiency here on the lower time frames. 8,650 is going to be the first objective, but ultimately, I think we can take out this previous low here. All right, so looking to kind of price in that lower high, right, relative to this high, right, massive manipulation, sell off, lower high, lower low. This is a higher time frame. All right, so we could be in for a very big swing here on Euro GBP and a lot of pound strength coming into the market. All right, so pay very close attention to 8,900 here on Euro GBP. Euro JPY. We talked about this one last week as well, right? The fact that we had very clean relative equal lows here, trading around this price at that time. We wanted to see a run on this internal liquidity and trading deeper into this buy to sell, right? This demand to supply flip while taking out this liquidity. We never got that. We kind of just created relative equal highs here. All right, and so if we can maintain these equal lows here, right, and trade higher now, I'd still be interested in looking to sell into these equal lows, right? But if we go ahead and take them out, then I'm likely going to kind of shift my bias a little bit, right? Just given kind of what's happening across the board on the yen pairs. I'm looking at one more move lower on GJ before another massive expansion higher, right? And technically higher time frame on Euro JPY, we are still bullish, higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so again, if we run this low out first, I wouldn't necessarily be as interested in selling it from our original level, but if we do trade higher first, running out these equal highs, then certainly would be interested in this level. Right? Just got to be patient on this one and see how it plays out. GBP JPY, right? This is another one we talked about last week, right? The fact that we, very easily see a massive expansion swing opportunity on this one. After the big run on sell side liquidity here with this massive spike, the sell to buy, the break of structure, we are now trading deeper into discount, ready for another higher low, right? The inversion of Euro GBP, right? Higher low to produce a higher high relative to this high on the higher time frames. Right? Remember last week I talked about the fact that this would be a critical level. We would want to break above this level before pulling back, creating a higher low. Otherwise, if we respect this up close candle, then I would expect this low to then be run out and then potentially see that run higher, digging deeper into this wick. Right, and that's what we're seeing here. And so just be patient. We're not quite ready. Right, we have it on our radar. We're ready to take swing opportunities on GJ. Hundreds and hundreds of pips to the upside. We just have to be patient. Right, this low, my opinion, is going to get run out, and then we'll see the sell to buy. So looking for that sell to buy, right, so we can take this thing on a massive swing to the upside. All right, so that's just the higher time frame perspective there. CAD Swiss franc. Finally, in that kind of retracement phase on this pair, I am somewhat interested in continuing with this lower time frame trend until it breaks. Right, and so naturally our level is going to be, the down close here, the supply to demand flip, right, higher low, higher high, relative equal highs here as well. Very clean actually, equal highs, nice draw on liquidity. Right, as we trade lower into our level of interest, right, this down close, right, we are consolidating. Right, so it'd be really nice, especially if we see the kind of buy to sell to buy and the break higher, right? Potentially trading a little bit deeper into this level here, 6,880, right, into 6,900 is going to be where we're looking at for continuations on CAD Swiss franc. And then the last one, I'm just going to reiterate what we talked about last week on GBP NZD. Right, very similar to GJ in that we had a massive liquidity sweep, sell to buy, break higher. Right, and as we're trading at a discount, we're seeing this choppy price action, very corrective, building up a ton of liquidity for a very strong move. Right, and so naturally, from a higher time frame perspective, we want to see that kind of buy to sell to buy. Right, break the structure higher, then that would be added confirmation for a pullback, and then a new higher high on the higher time frames relative to this high. All right, so a massive opportunity, tons of pips, massive risk to reward to be had on GBP NZD as well as GBP JPY. Again, we just have to be patient with it. Let them weed out the retail traders. Right, give us the clues necessary for us to get into the market, right, with high probability. All right, so that wraps it up for Smart Money Sundays. Hope you've enjoyed this and marked some of these levels off. We certainly teach how to execute on the lower time frames and trade with these narratives. From an intraday perspective to our VIP clients and private mentorship students. So if you are interested in that, please head over to our website, aerialfxtrading.com, and book a call with either Nate or myself, and we'd be happy to run through things with you and see if it's the right fit for both of us. Hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday for a live session, and then Saturday's live session, and then we'll have another Smart Money Sundays episode out on Sunday. All right, safe trading, guys. Thanks.